Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, you guys. What is going on? It is just Sylvie coming to bring you just a little bit of that 414, the one in the middle for some balance. Why? Because you see things this way and they see things that way. But if we come together for just a little bit of effective communication, we may be able to just get a better understanding of how things work. Doesn't mean that we are going to agree. We are not made to agree with everything that one another says. We are humans. We are not robots. But understanding can at least offer us a better respect for one another. Thank you. I sure appreciate it. I was just about to say, I hope y'all will like, share, and subscribe. I hope y'all having a great start to the week. Today we are just 2 days in. Sunday, somebody said that they try to make Sunday the end of the week at this point. Sunday is the beginning of the week. So today is day number 2. Today is day number 2. So I hope y'all week is starting off good. If it's not, I really do hope that it gets better, y'all. Look, y'all see what the title has said. We about to talk about that soft life, to be or not to be it. That it, girl. That it man. To be or not to be it. To be or not to be chosen. What you out here doing to live this soft life. My daughter and I were talking about this soft life today. That's all that has been going on, is this soft life. So we're going to talk about it. But before we get there, we're just going to talk about a few other things. Because I was raised up in a time where right is right and wrong is wrong. That was my ex-mother-in-law's favorite phrase. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So, are you the only one what? In my chat? I don't know. I thought I saw someone else besides you, if that's what you're asking, if you're the only one in the chat. Let's see. No, you're not the only one in the chat. I appreciate those of you who came into the chat and sat a spell with me. But we're going to go ahead and get into this first video. My technological savviness is I'm learning. Look, Quinn said, no, I'm here. Thank you, Quinn. Quinn is here too. Quinn is here. There's people bobbing in and out. They may not be commenting in the chat, but it is people bobbing in and out. Go ahead and interact. Y'all better interact y'all better go ahead on and interact in the chat. I appreciate it. But look, we're gonna take a look at this here. This video 9 minutes. I didn't know this video was 9 minutes, y'all. I didn't know this video was 9 minutes. So we're probably not gonna look at this whole video, but we're going to look at the beginning of it, because when I say that I am reacting to this video, like at the time with you guys, my daughter was just telling me about this video before we got off the phone. I was just on the phone with her. We talked for quite some time. I am doing just great. Thank you so much for asking. How are you doing today? But I want to hear your thoughts on this video. I'm gonna let y'all know the premise of what my daughter said this video is about. So this video is about some young ladies. They're at the park. They are in the world of suburbia, and this is because we talk. I'm glad you're doing great. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're doing good. Y'all know that's how I started off. I'm hoping these weeks have started off great for y'all. Good. It's good to know. I hope y'all like, share, and subscribe for me. Let somebody know that I'm live if y'all don't mind. But we talk about all kinds of things. This page is about accountability. This page is about character. This page is about self-reflection, because you won't take accountability. You won't know what your character is if you're not self-reflecting. So we need self-reflecting in all of it. And I was even telling my baby, I'm like, these kind of pages, they don't really do great because it's not all full of drama and everything like that. My baby said, Mom, we coming into the time where people are taking more notice to those kind of things as far as taking accountability for your actions. Mm. I'm trying to keep the volume down when I'm over here looking at the live, trying to see the chat, because even with all four of these eyes, those emojis, they be something else. All right. I think that's Jamaica. I think that's what that flag is I see. All right, all right, all right. Come on in here, come on in here. Okay, so the premise of this is these young ladies are at the park. There is if I'm understanding my daughter right, there is a Hispanic young lady, there's a black young lady, and the rest of the young ladies are white. And they're minding their business, and the little boy, Ethiopia? Okay, all right. Come on now. The little boy comes over, and the little boy is white, and he's 8. And he comes over and he tells these young ladies he's gonna shoot them. He comes over and he tells these young ladies that he's gonna shoot them. So I would assume, because my daughter didn't go all into it. Nice to meet you as well. I'm going to assume that these young ladies, or at least one of them, checked that little boy. Like, who you think you're gonna shoot? Look, let me tell you something about anxiety. I have been doing this, not on this level, because it's a little more, I'm better, and my engagement is changing, but I've been doing this since like 2008, 2017. I do not. And anxiety, yeah. I tell everybody that I believe that the Most High set me out here to be on this platform. And before I came out here onto this platform, I was on my praise and worship team at church. And I went to a church that broadcasted online and everything like that. And so it was a larger audience. And that was anxiety for me as well. Please don't. Right. Right. I'm going to read this comment. I'm going to stop what I'm saying. Guys, don't go up to people and tell them that you're going to shoot them. There's women in Africa who are getting assaulted, because we're going to talk about it, assaulted every day, and I honestly feel so bad for them because they don't deserve that. Nobody deserves to be assaulted. Self-defense is one thing. Just assaulting people is an entirely different thing. But back to the anxiety. Being on that praise and worship team, I was in the choir first, but I sat on the back row of the choir. And then it was suggested for me to come to the front row of the choir. That was anxiety for me. And I turned it down the first time. And then God put it in my face again. And if anyone knows anything about me, if I believe it's God, I try to make some type of way, shape, or form of doing what I believe God is telling me to do. So I moved to the front row of the choir. So when I was when it was a suggestion for me to go to the praise and worship, I'm like, come on, God, this is a little bit more in the front. I don't really like the front. And there's nothing more in the front than right now. There are people from Ethiopia in here. I believe that was Jamaican flag. Sometimes I have people from United Kingdom in here. Like, I'm not saying that I have great numbers right now, but I have people watching me. The anxiety is real. The anxiety is real. But what I have been taught, and I was taught that by my last pastor at the church where I was on the praise and worship team. He said that he gets nervous when he gets up there. I talked to him about it. I have to drag the fear and the anxiety with me, because the Most High said that I have to, so I have to. But they checked the little boy, and then mom comes up because the little boy was unattended. So mom comes up and she begins to engage with only the black little girl. And so we're going to watch a bit of this video. Why is it sounding like it don't have no sound now? Let me come out and go back in. Give me a minute, y'all. Because now it's doing things and stuff.
Child came over here saying he was going to get a shotgun and shoot me in my face.
And that was after you told him to...
No, he came over here cussing us out. He was cussing him out first.
Cussing how so?
Saying, shut the fuck up. You need to watch your child. If you're going to come over here and confront a child.
I'm sorry, where are your parents?
Honestly, I know. My parents will... Don't worry. Don't worry about my
And that is fine.
Don't worry about me. Your child came over here cussing other children out. How about you watch your child and watch your child's language? I don't care. I'm gonna be straightforward because you shouldn't be coming over here saying, so you're gonna be talking to my child any kind of way. If your child,
I'm sorry. I need to know your parents and I need to know the phone number so we can have a conversation because clearly you don't understand how.
It actually gets worse. Now, you actually hear.
And let me just say this. Dr. Rayshard Ritchie. Shout out to Dr. Rayshard Ritchie. And y'all go check him out. I watch his content often. He's not bringing it unless he feels like he fights against racism. So he's not bringing it unless he feels like there is justification for him to play that video on his and you heard him say, I think you may have heard him say, it actually gets worse. My daughter said there is going to be a point in the video where there is going to be another white woman that gets involved. They're going to get overly aggressive with this young girl. And some may say, well, she didn't have any business talking to her that way. That could be so. But what there is no business of is your child threatening harm on any children. There has to be a level of respect when we come into each other's spaces. I don't care what you feel about me. I really don't. You don't like me? You hate me, you despise me. But there has to be a level of respect. And if her son went into the space of those young ladies and threatened to shoot them, there was no level of respect there. Now, if she was going to speak to that young lady, she could have dealt with her child, and that would have more than likely made that young lady a little more apt to say, okay, well, let me give my parents information. But if we all agree, and my daughter said, if the young Hispanic young lady would not have been taping, because she was videoing the entire thing, that it could have possibly gone a different way. I got me some warm lemon water. It was really hot when I started, but it's a little warm now. And it's almost gone because I was drinking it while I was trying to prepare. So there has to be, we here together. And racism may never, ever leave the face of this earth. But there are racists that deal with people in their everyday life. And they know how to. There are racists that hire people that don't look like them and people that they probably hate. And they know how to conduct themselves. So when you don't know how to conduct yourself, because if it had to make his news, and I have to go back and watch it. I really didn't even want to bring it after I saw that it was 9 minutes. Because I really want to cut it up. When I cut this up and make the video, I'll probably watch the whole thing and just cut more of it up. Or I may talk about it again. Because all I said was, what in the, you are an adult and that is a child, and that is an 8-year-old child that is threatening harm to some people that had nothing to do with them, and he just came into their spaces. Going on here? What's going on here? Where they do that at? In the land of privilege. That you feel like it's okay for you to come in and check somebody else and not check your child who just posed a threat. Because those are the things that when they get older, and I don't care what color your baby is, when there is no discipline, when they get older, they walk in the fact that there is no discipline. I don't care what color they are. If you go into situations, T.I. and King, he just did it when King got arrested. Won't even gonna talk about that. He couldn't stop him from getting arrested. But what he do when he walk up to that officer? Is there anything that we can do to stop this from going on? Let his tail get arrested and don't think that it's okay for him to be talking to the cops, telling the cops what he ain't gonna do and what they ain't gonna do. And I have been saying to everybody that I can, I watched the show when King was a baby, and I understand that it's just reality TV, but they pull reality from real life, and you see anytime things start going down with King. And somebody said it the other day, said the universe whispers before it yells. And that was a great analogy, because King been going through some things and stuff. And I thought I think he got a baby, because I think I reported about when he got the girl pregnant. And I was like, okay, maybe King gonna turn over a new leaf. And that same podcaster that said that spoke on, I don't even understand what it is that might draw him to want to be living that street life, because it's glorified. You see a lot of little babies from the suburbs want to be acting like they gang bangers and things and stuff. Sips lemon water. Why you want to glorify something that can get you hurt? And you know you're not really bad like that anywho. Why? Why you want to do that? I don't understand. But some people want to do it. But King didn't have this. King been spoiled since he was that knee-high to a baby. King been spoiled since that long. No discipline makes you grow up. If the world don't humble you, because God wants us to humble ourselves. God would want that we would humble ourselves. But if we don't humble ourselves, because the word, I've been saying this forever, except I said, Lord, I'm going to have to apologize to you, because it didn't particularly say that you cut that kite string, but you allowed that kite string to get cut, because we come full circle. And we're going to talk about it when I talk about this word. But right now, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next story, because I'm telling you some good stuff. I don't like nonsense. Because the privilege be real. So this woman was in the airport, and she told them to bill her for her burger. She gonna leave.
No, we're not going to leave. Either we're going to pay the bill or you're going to be arrested. I'm telling you now.
What?
That's
Arrested
absurd.
for a burger?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't arrest someone
you
for a
came
burger.
to
You
arrest
give them a
someone.
bill and you give them a time frame to pay a bill.
Okay, we'll see about that.
Yeah,
Are you
that'll
going
be
to pay
fine.
the bill? Are you going to pay the
bill?
bill?
And I'll be
No,
fine.
there's no bill. That's not how this works.
Yes, it is. You do not arrest someone for a $34 hamburger. You do not arrest someone.
We'll find out.
No.
We'll
It's
find
not.
out.
We'll find
You want to
out.
come to the front?
No.
Do you want to come to the front now?
I'm going to leave.
You're not going
I'm
to leave.
leaving the airport.
Ma'am, you're not leaving.
Yes, I am.
No,
ma'am.
You do not arrest someone for a hamburger.
Ma'am.
She about bad as King.
For what?
For not
And
paying
what is the
for it.
charge?
That's absurd.
And how long is the charge? How long do you arrest someone for a hamburger?
Ma'am, are you gonna pay for it today?
I said I want a bill for it.
Do we have anything? There's no one there?
Actually,
Can I have the receipt? I want the bill.
gonna take
No,
it.
no, I want the bill
You're
for
gonna
it.
take it.
It's my bill.
Ma'am, can you drop your back?
it's your bill. It's your bill.
No, I will not drop the backpack.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Nope. Nope. Drop everything. Just let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Those are my things.
Okay. Don't go
They're
around
going
with it.
with you. They're going
Where
with
am I
you.
going?
You're gonna stay with us for a second. I don't have the extra set with me.
You there?
No, I usually bring the extra set, but just relax, okay? Don't storm on us. You'll be all right.
You're attacking me.
Oh, ma'am.
You're
You're
attacking.
arrested
You're a hamburger.
for theft of service.
But that's not
Woo.
Yes, ma'am. You purchased something here, right?
I
Uh-huh.
agreed to pay
Right,
for
you
something
agreed to
with
pay
my
for it.
father's money.
Okay, well, there's no one registered
And that's
under
too
that
tight on my
name.
right hand. It's too
Okay,
tight on my right
quit
hand.
moving around.
I have my water in my face. You're not.
There's plenty of room. I can stick my whole finger in your right hand.
And I want my ID in there too. Back in my bag.
Everything's gonna go with you.
I want my ID back in my bag.
Let me run you first.
Oh, so you did? I would have to
I've never been here before.
have them here.
No, I've never been here before.
Okay.
What the fuck is that?
What in the I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger. Today I want to be billed for my $34 hamburger because I've never been here and done this before. And you're not going to arrest me because you don't want to give me a bill for my $34 hamburger. Is going on here. The privilege is real. The privilege is real. Where's the accountability? I told you this page is about just take some accountability, man. What restaurant can you go into and just think that you're just going to get a burger billed to you? I'll wait. I'll wait. Where you going to get that burger? For free. And why you asking what you being arrested for? That's the same thing King did. You're being arrested because you wanted your burger for free in an establishment that requires you pay for the burger. How dare they ask me to pay for my burger? How dare they tell me I've been here before? King, how dare you ask me to get out the car because you saw that I have a firearm and you just may want to be aware of your safety because just because I'm T.I., son, don't mean that you know you safe. Why I gotta get out the car? Because you got a firearm sitting there and some drugs. And you're speeding. If I heard it, why didn't he hear it? If I know she's supposed to pay for her burger, why don't she know she's supposed to pay for her burger? We don't discriminate around these parts. Can't be racist because I don't got nothing to keep you from. But we try our hardest not to discriminate around here at Sylvie's. All that we want you to do is take the deepest and the hardest look at yourself. That's all. That's all. Woo, people is funty. People is funty. Now, ladies, and I promise you it's just not for ladies that look like this, it's for ladies that look all kinds of ways. Because I promise you, I have seen it from all kinds of nationalities. Can't tell nobody how to get they clap back. You can't tell nobody how to get they clap back. You better keep them comments to yourself. You better keep your hands to yourself. This next young lady was blessed and highly favored because this could have gone an entirely different way because you so bad. And I promise you, I understand the concept because Sylvie thinks she bad too. God, tell me not to allow my buttons to be pushed. So Auntie just be trying to tell you young ladies just a little bit of something. If you have ears to hear, I promise you, I'll talk to myself first and tell myself, oh, you can't allow your buttons to be pushed. Why? Because God said don't allow your buttons to be pushed. Now she could have, this next young lady could have been laid out somewhere. Let me just tell you. She could have been laid out somewhere. I don't even know if I'm supposed to show this on YouTube, but that's not what I was looking for. Oh man, I don't got that one. Nope, this one. Oh, this is. You see what she just did? That's all I wanted to show. That's a man Buddha. That's a man Buddha. And it's titled that she hit the cashier and slapped the security guard. Now it's a man that would have laid her out and then everybody would have been like, he didn't have to take it that far. Ladies, you cannot. I just read that comment speaking on assault. It is never, I never, ever, ever condone a man putting his hands on a woman first. Never. I do not condone assault. I do not condone domestic violence. But let me tell you what I don't condone equally is you putting your hands on him. If he ain't put his hands on you, you keep your hands to yourself. If everybody would keep their hands to themselves, everything would be all great with the world. But everybody feels as though so many people feel like they have the right to put their hands on you and to touch you in ways that you don't want to be touched and to harm you in ways that nobody ever wants to be harmed. Keep your freaking hands to yourself. You out there just steady putting your hands on people, you might just want to go sit down and speak to somebody because you have issues within you that you should deal with. Because had that man struck back, someone would have been trying to tell him how he should have struck back. Now, I said that I would not let DJ Twitch's situation leave me. And although it's still being said, that, he took his own life, I still don't believe it. I don't believe that, and I don't believe that young lady in my thumbnail did as well. I don't believe they took their own lives. Those are my opinions to have. I believe allegedly there were factors that were involved, and both of them lost their lives. But DJ Twitch has been gone for 3 years, but I said back then I would stay on it. So this is just discussing the fact that his mother went and applied for grandparents' rights. I just happened to see a video on Instagram that a young lady was talking about, and I'm just gonna play a small piece of that because.
Let me get this straight. Twitch boss. Let me get this straight.
Well, why you didn't stay paused? Because this young lady that I'm about to show you, and I only want to show you that one particular piece because I disagree with what she just said, and she's going to contradict what she just said.
Twitch boss's mom spent the last year publicly criticizing his wife, Allison, and now she's suing her for grandparent rights. First of all, to be fair, she was responding to Allison's book. If you remember, Twitch boss died, and then a few months later, Allison published her memoir, and Connie basically was blindsided by some of the claims in it, and she publicly...
Let me say this first and foremost. It wasn't a few months later, first and foremost, because that's how the narrative will get misconstrued. So you said she spent the whole year coming at her neck, and then she applied for grandparents' rights. But then you go back and say, let's be fair, she only did it after the memoirs came out. The memoirs didn't come out till last year. Twitch had been gone for almost 2 years at that point, for 2 years at that point. So she didn't do it a few months after. She did it almost 2 years after he was gone. And some of those things, as his mother stated, if that man, your business is your business to tell. And if we want to debate her finding some drugs after he passed away and talking about that, that's one thing. But for her to go in and talk about abuse that happened to him, that was his business. And if he went to the grave with it, he just well as ought to have been able to go to the grave with it, because dealing with abuse, I'm believing it was dealing with abuse is not an easy subject to deal with. So for you to go and tell a story, my story, even if I talk to you about it every night, you don't know it because you didn't experience it. He experienced it. So his mother had a right to speak on that. Now, for you to be, this is my opinion. It is my opinion that because of that, you were in your feelings and you wanted to get back at her. That's my thought process. And so she said that she has made several attempts. Okay, I'm going to read what Yahoo.com said. Yahoo.com said, unfortunately, shortly following my son's passing, Allison refused to allow me or any of other family members to communicate with or see the minor children. And I went in parentheses and said, shortly after the passing, the memoirs were not written yet. I remember when they were trying to see the children, the memoirs were not written yet. My hope is that the court can grant me limited grandparent visitation in a way that neither infringes on Allison's autonomy or disrupts their lives. I believe it in the best interest of the children to continue to have a relationship with their father's family, especially now that he's no longer present in their lives. And Allison says she tried to make contact and it was refused, but they dismissed her case due to jurisdiction because Allison moved. I ain't saying that Allison moved to thwart her being able to take that case out. But I am saying that Allison and her new boo is staying in the house on her ex-husband's dime in another state. And you're keeping the children from the only other part of their family. And I am a big advocate for allowing, you'll hear me speak on it on a regular. If the father is not a danger to the children, and evidently you didn't feel like the father or his family was a danger to those children before he passed away. If the father is not a danger to, I don't care if he is the deadbeatiest of deadbeats. If those children want to see their father, and I feel the same way about their family, especially their grandparent. What connection do they have to know their father? You can only tell what you know for the time that y'all were together. That's all that you have. They should not be negated to see, denied the ability, the opportunity to have all of their family. They are part of their village. So that's just what I feel about that. And you don't have to agree with my thought process, but that's what I feel about that. And I said to it, look, Twitch, if you didn't do this to yourself, I want all the truth to come out. But if anything comes up, because every so often I go on Google and I Google Allison Holker and Twitch Boss Reed, somebody on the post was like, because she just got engaged to the man, I think. And, there are others out there that feel like she knows something or something about Twitch not being here anymore. And somebody on the post was like, you need to be checking into Ellen because Ellen's the one. Allegedly. I'm just telling you what the post said, Ellen. I'm not saying that you're the one or not the one. To be or not to be. It. Tag, you're it. Tag, you are it. Let's see what we got here. What we got here. Okay, so we about to read this word, and then we gonna get into this Kendra G and Lakeisha, Lakeisha, and this is about maybe about 2 weeks ago. Both these interviews. But I can't understand why Lakeisha won't leave this man's daughter alone. Why? I will never understand anytime, I will say this, anytime, this is my belief, that you consistently put someone down, I believe it's to try and lift yourself up. And she called the girl ugly until she couldn't call her ugly no more, and now she talking about who ain't gonna marry her, and the only reason that somebody will marry her is if they get paid to marry her. But let's go ahead on and get into these Proverbs. I got some Proverbs 16 and 18. Let me tell you something about these Proverbs before about what I'm about to speak about. All right? Because this proverb is about pride. This is a very common pride verse. Proverbs 16 and 18, pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. So I attend Seventh-day Adventist church at this point in life. And so we worship on Saturday. And so we don't have Sunday school because we're not there on Sunday. So we refer to it as Sabbath school. I mean, the name Saturday in Spanish really just kind of, it kind of coincides with Sabbath, Sabbath. I don't know. I'm there because God said, y'all just hear me say, if God say it to my spirit, I'm gonna do it. But anywho, so our Sabbath school lesson, we have one lesson per day from the afternoon of Sabbath until that Friday. And so I didn't do any of my lessons until that Friday. And I got in there on Friday and got into them lessons. Did I erase those screenshots? And while God was talking about pride, I said, okay, God, okay. Why? Because first and foremost, because I told y'all I talk about me. First and foremost, I'm reading you Proverbs 16 and 18, which means that this live was supposed to be done on the 16th. Pride says that not only do you have your nose up here looking down at other people, but you are not, as a one that walks in relationship with God, you are not obedient to how God says, and this walk is a process. I just watched a sermon last night. That man is bad. In my Courtney McBath voice, that man is bad. I said, Lord, he might be my Pastor Charles Stanley replacement. This man that I'm watching now. But he spoke on the drug addict that he sent out. He didn't go say, you need to lay them drugs alone. You need to lay them drugs alone. You need to lay them drugs alone. He meet people where they at. God don't always want us to stay where we at, but God understands, and he met that woman where she was at, and he told her to go offer Bible study, not teach it. Give them the disc so that they can watch it for themselves. Pray until somebody opens the door, he said. He didn't say stop using drugs so that God can use you. He didn't say that. He made her full aware that God will use you as a crackhead. When she finally prayed until somebody opened the door, and it took time. He said, if you got to pray, if you got to die in prayer, pray until somebody opened the door. He said, I'm not going to leave my office. I'm going to stay at my office and pray until you call me and say somebody opened the door. And those men, a motorcycle gang, said the woman still goes to the church. When she said that the man invited her in and he said it was a motorcycle gang, I was like, oh, Lord, that's scary. And the pastor told her not to go in, but she wound up going in. And she was safe. God kept her safe. And they called her an angel. And that's when she said, I'm not an angel. I'm a drug addict just like y'all. But after she prayed until because she could have been prideful, because shame is a part of pride as well. My girlfriend just said, I didn't know shame could keep you from God. Yeah. She could have been so prideful that she would have allowed the shame of the addiction to keep her from praying, to keep her from waiting and being patient, and to keep her from going in. Yeah, all of that would have been pride. That won't her think she was better than the man. That was her thinking her way was better than God's. God want me here on this platform. And look, I got up this morning early, and God want me here earlier. And I have said that. That's where my pride come in. When I sat down on Friday night and started doing that lesson and started, it was about pride. Please, Lord, please, Lord, help me. I don't get up and go to no doctor's appointments and put no makeup on. But ever since that I got there, sat down on Friday and sat with a lesson about pride as I was about to come and teach about pride. And mind you, strangers speak with me over the years and have said, stay humble as God takes you where God is taking you. Strangers, you real humble, stay humble. But even that people say stay humble to, know that I deal with issues of pride. I sat in that church on Saturday and said, do we not understand? We always trying to push things out. And one of my favorite scriptures has become, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. That's talking to the church. That ain't talking to the people that ain't the church. But the church always trying to not self-analyze and tell people how they should walk their walk. That's what made that man talking to that woman and just sending her out. And all of her mess. David sent Uriah to the front line. Apple of God's mess. Because when she went back to church, she sat in that church for 5 hours. Probably because she was so excited. She was on a natural high. Because God showed up in that prayer. Yeah. 5 hours. No drugs. No shaking. I took some screenshots. I think I still have the screenshots. No, that's not that. Did I erase the? Nope. I didn't get the first few words, but I'm gonna say that it's talking about something about when we think about pride, we immediately think of others. But the real question is, what about each one of us? By pointing the fingers at others and denying pride in our own life, we deceive ourselves. Be ye not deceived, please and thank you. Be ye not deceived. This page is about self-analyzation. There is no greater walk with God than to be better in yourself. And when you're better in yourself, I promise you, people see it. People see it. Those men saw the betterment of that woman. They called her an angel because she was so adamant. She wasn't even trying to give the Bible verse to that man. He was mad at the church because he had inquired of the church. And he probably was dealing with church folk. When you're dealing with church folk, that's something different than somebody you're walking in relationship. That's all that I'm saying. We've all battled with pride. We've all experienced times where we want to look, probably that's it, because I didn't get all of that. Probably said where we want to look at others and need to be looking at ourselves. That's it, that part. That part. There is nothing so offensive to God or dangerous to human souls as pride and self-sufficiency. And we spoke about in the Sabbath lesson, pride in and of itself is not a bad thing, but it's a slippery slope because once you have accomplishments, you're okay. You're good to be proud of yourself for the things that you do in life. You're good to be proud of yourself. But when you feel like those things that you do in life is supposed to earn you a spot at the top of the crop, and you're supposed to look at me this way, and you're supposed to treat me this way, and I look at you that way, and I treat you that way because I'm better than you, and I have more than you, and I've accomplished what you have not accomplished. Miss Lisa Barlow. That's Miss Lisa Barlow of the Housewives of Salt Lake City. Yeah, that's Miss Lisa Barlow. That's who came to mind as I was just going through that thing there. This pride ain't nothing to play with. It ain't nothing to play with. Pride will have you out there not analyzing yourself. And when you don't analyze yourself, then you run into things like, look, let's talk about Ashley Janae, because I don't have too much prayers going out to the family of Ashley Janae. Ashley Janae was newly engaged. Ashley Janae was on a great vacation. It was her birthday. Go, shawty. It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. Gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give up. It's not your birthday. It was her birthday. Her man proposed to her on her birthday, and it was looking all good for the gram. They're showing you all the safari pictures and all of that stuff like that. And if you go to her Instagram, I know she was gorgeous. She was gorgeous. Body like Pal and all of that. I be in line with all the celebrities, Kevin Gates and Joe Buttons, and I be in the videos and all of this and that and the other, and it looks good. I done told y'all. Temptation. It looks good. And it smells good. And it feels good. And it rides good. And it drives good. And it lives good. And it wears good. And it tastes good. And it sounds good. But if you're not learning character, and I'm not saying Mr. McCann is guilty because I don't know what happened, but I know that plenty of the podcasts that I watched said, look in his eyes. Look at his eyes. And when I looked in his eyes, because the eyes are the keys to the soul, the eyes are the keys to the soul. When I looked in his eyes, those eyes look like eyes that I wouldn't want to particularly be around. And you know, there's things going on about the type of women that he chose and all of that stuff like that. But as everybody was saying, look into his eyes, last week, I sent my sister a picture. I said, everybody's saying look in his eyes, but look in her eyes. I said, what her eyes look like? And she gave me her opinion. I forget what she said, but she right along the line. I said, her eyes look like they lost to me. That's what her eyes look like. I've looked at several pictures of her eyes because we can put on a great picture. To be or not to be it, baby. To be or not to be it. And with the in crowd, I'm in with the in crowd. I go where the in crowd goes. I'm in with the in crowd. I know what the in crowd knows. I'm in with the in crowd. I know all the ladies dances. I'm in with the in crowd. It's easy to find romance. When you're in with the in crowd, it's easy to find romance, especially if you're going out there looking for it based off of appearances and things and stuff. He wanted the pretty little teapot. Short and stacked. Here is my bosoms. Here is my back. And she wanted the money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Some people got to have it. Some people really need it. Do things, bad things, baby, for the love of money. Want the money, money and the cars, cars and the clothes. She ain't want the whole, well, they talk like he was a little bit of a hoe. They talk like he liked the chocolate. And they talk like he liked the chocolate who didn't particularly like themselves. And I don't care how good you look. Does not mean that you feel how you portray on the outside. I don't have no problem with anybody. Floss and flaunt how you want. All that I am trying to say to the babies, aunties, all that auntie is trying to say to the babies is get this part right. That's what we gonna listen to when we talk about Kendra. Get the insides right. Because once you work on the inside, you will draw better from the outside. You will understand integrity and character and not just bags. Because one of the podcasts said, because it's one woman talking about it, she said if we dig into Joe, as we dig into Joe, it's going to force you to have to dig into Ashley. He said, she said Joe looked at the chocolate women the way some of these women be looking at these bags. And don't get it twisted. Brittany, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, she liked the mans. She likes one man in particular, And he's an Osmond, because Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is into Mormonism. They are Mormons by religious preference. And she likes that their, what his name is? Jared Osmond. He is the nephew to Donnie and Marie, and they are on again, off again, so much so to the point I just posted that video where she was trying to blame, and I still can't, Bronwyn. She was trying to blame Bronwyn because her daughter, she just met up with her daughter on one of the last episodes that I watched, and her daughter said, "You have always put a man in front of us," and she talked about, he takes me on nice dinners and he buys me bags. And I said, "Oh, Lord, they want you to think that this is just the chocolate girls out here attached to these bags and things and stuff. They just want you to think that it's the chocolate girl. They want you to think that it's attached to a nationality or a color of your skin. No, baby, it's attached to not doing the inside work. Because you said that you were leaving Jared alone for 30 days and then you went on that yacht. I'm on the last season. Then you went on that yacht with Heather and all of them gals, and you want to be all up in the captain's face even after Heather said, "Oops, excuse me, I didn't mean to let that fly out of my mouth." Even after Heather said that her and the captain had messed around, you still trying to get the captain in your room. He came in your room, you said he was just changing the light bulb or something, but he probably changed the light bulb and then some in that room, because you like the mans. Your baby said she came to visit you, and then the man that you was messing with came over there, and y'all just started making out in front of her like she wasn't even there. I didn't even bring no men in around my children. I'm lying. If I did, we sat in the living room or in the kitchen. My children have never been in the presence of men that I dealt with, and I didn't really deal with no men, really. There have been 2 men at my house. I think I've dealt with 2 men since my ex-husband, because the 2 men that was, one of the men at my house I was dealing with, one of them I was not dealing with on a romantic basis. Excuse me, 3. Dealt with 3 men since, and I've been divorced since 2005. While my children were in the house, I will say. While my children was in the house. I'm an adult. What I choose to do in this adult is my choice. But what you choose to put in front of your children, okay, let's talk about the Instagram post that I just watched with a baby was standing there. His mom was about to go out with his daddy. His mama was about to go out with his daddy. He was like, "Mama, why you got them shorts on?" Shorts was all cheeks just hanging from below the shorts. And if that's for her man, because somebody was like, it's not confidence, but if it's her man, all right with it, then you can't say that. And not only is that her man, that's her child's father. I don't know if they married. If they not, they cohabitate. But that was her child's father. But the content creator that brought the video, he said, "I'm not even talking about whether that's right or wrong or not, because if her man like it, I love it." He said, but whereas back in the day when we were raised, you had to take a Polaroid. Click, click. Pose for the camera now. Click, click. No, we're in a digital age. Everybody, because I'm pretty sure that video had a high amount of views, all of his friends can come up there and see his mama booty cheeks. That's all. We should be thinking about our baby. My baby look about the video that I showed first. My baby said, "I understand when you're doing better and you would like to live in better places." She said, "But you can't take your babies into consideration when you moving. You're not thinking about the outcome that this can take on your child's psyche when you have moved them into a neighborhood because you want to, you deserve to be able to live wherever you want. But how is this going to affect your child in the future?" That was my daughter's thought process. And I told her I just watched a podcast that said that very same thing. We're not thinking about that kind of stuff. Let's see. It says of all sins, it is most hopeless and the most incurable. Why? Because people think they're all right. People don't think they're being prideful. Do you know how many people scream when the pastor screams out, if my people who are called by my name, yeah, yeah, yeah. Until you start talking about calling Donald Trump name, then they put themselves on a pedestal, buddy. It's funny to me. It is funny to me. But whether you want to see Donald Trump as a reflection of yourself or not, I honestly said it years ago, you better look at Donald Trump and see yourself. If he prideful, how much more? And you get, especially as someone in the church, you saying that he don't got nothing to do with God. So how much more are you if God is steady having to talk to us about pride because we think we all right. We think we good. That whole part. Pride is arrogancy, excellence, majesty, pomp, pride, proud, swelling. Do you know that the more something swells, it's going to explode? Swelling is never good. Swelling is never good. It says, nations, their wealth, their power, their magnificence of buildings. People, when they get more, they want more. And even if they are in relationship with God, it becomes harder and harder to not look at yourself as the one who did it if you are not careful to keep God at the forefront. It is repeatedly and severely condemned by God as serious sin, but everybody want to be talking about the homosexual and the woman ain't supposed to be in the pulpit. But ain't nobody looking at their own prideful selves. It is repeatedly and severely condemned by God as sin. For God is wont to cut short whatever is too highly exalted. Cut short. You don't want to do it. You don't want to humble yourself. So many people have a problem with the word humble. Steve Harvey got a problem with the word humble. But he declare and decree that he walk in relationship with God. A prideful person is very apt to not be able to be told anything. And if you can't be told anything, how can you want to be told something? God speaks through people, places, and things. The Bible is a thing. But people and places, don't leave them out. Don't leave them out. Pride is corruption of self-love. Self-love is great. Because God don't want you all the way at the other end. God don't want you not loving yourself. God don't want you to be a people pleaser. All of that is the total opposite other side of pride. But pride is a corruption of self-love. It is self-flattery. I'm going to tell myself what feels good. And I only want those around me to tell me what feels good and to agree with my every whim. So even if it don't make no sense, even if it's nonsensical, I need the yes men around me. Flatterers are yes men. Or when he challenges more respect than is due to him on the score of what he has. I need you to put me on the pedestal that I see myself on. You don't see me as up here, as I see myself as up here. My daughter called them minions today. She was talking about Nene and her minions because she's binge watching The Housewives of Atlanta right now. And she's talking about, Nene was working herself back into the fold because, you need your friends. If you need your friends, you can't treat your friends like they minions. But on the flip side of that minion, you can't be minioned. Because if you allow yourself to be a minion, they're just going to minion you. Who wants to be a minion? Who wants to be a millionaire? Who wants to be a millionaire? Let's see. The whole tenor of Scripture intimates how exceeding hateful pride is to the Almighty God. Great insistence is laid in Scripture on the evil of pride and the value of humility. Ultimately, we owe everything to our Creator and divine benefactor. And the thought that our distinction is due to ourselves is essentially a false thought. Self-respect, self-confidence is one thing. You feel a way about yourself, and that was my little parenthesis. You feel a way about yourself inside and out. That's one thing. But pride, which is an overweening estimate of our own importance, is virtue, is wholly unbeautiful. It marks a man's character as a scar. Marks his countenance. You know, Scar had that scar right there. And that scar is always there. It should be there to remind you of your humanness. But it's basically saying that pride changes your character the same way that a scar changes your appearance. Pride begets a false confidence. This begets unwariness and leads into the place of danger. Danger! Get on the floor. Oh, no. I take it back. Rewind. Whew, Jesus. And then comes the fall. Pride comes before destruction, a haughty heart before the fall. And haughtiness and pride, they one and the same. And that should let you know how important it is in the verse, because both of them are used. Pride comes before destruction, a haughty heart before the fall. Once it's in your heart, it's hard to get that thing out. Once you feel something in your heart, it's a heart issue at that point. Heart issues create heart problems. That's all. And where can this fall take place? In your health. And look, heart issues create heart problems. In your business, in your office and power, your morals and your piety. Your morals are your character. Your piety is your relationship with God. But real humility is based on a thorough knowledge of our own nature, of its weakness. You got to tell yourself not to do some things sometimes. I do. I'm just being real. Girl, you are not ready to do that. You're not getting ready to do that. You have to be aware. You got to be aware. And its openness to evil, on a full acquaintance with our own character, with its imperfections and liability to fail us in the trying hour. We do not indeed admire servility. That's what I was saying. That part, that's a no-no too. Servility is basically being a people pleaser, detesting yourself enough that you're going to yes to everything somebody tell you to do. That we detest it heartily. We want genuine humility. Pride is a slippery place where we are sure to slip and fall. Humility is the ground where devotion finds its home, which a reverent trustfulness frequents where God is ready with his shield of guardianship from the temptation shrinks away, where human souls live in peace and purity and attain to their maturity in Christ their Lord. says pride is native to every country. It is not a place on this earth. Not a place on this earth, on God's green earth, where you cannot find prideful people. It infects every climate, corrupts every nation. It mingles with all our other vices. You prideful and you smoke, you're going to reason that it's okay. Let's take religion out of it. Smoking. What is that? It makes your breath stink, your lungs dirty, and then you die. In my Rudy voice. But because you prideful, you go because you enjoy it and it's good, and I've enjoyed it and it was good, and you know. But I can't rationalize that it's all right, but it mingles with your other vices. Why did it go way back up there? That is so not right. And without the most constant and anxious care, will mingle with all our virtues. He that overvalues himself will undervalue others. And he that undervalues others will oppress them. Some folks don't care about it. They will walk around till the day that they leave this earth being prideful because they are okay with undervaluing other people and they are okay with oppressing them. Might that be you? To pride must be attributed most of the fraud, injustice, violence, and extortion which wealth is frequently acquired. Look, I have heard, and that ain't something that I just be hearing from church folk. I have heard all over the internet how millionaires and billionaires be. It's easier for the camel to go through the eye of a needle with his big old hump, because people become dependent on their things and stuff. And I watch Criminal Minds. And Criminal Minds is always going to talk about the unsub. Narcissistic people would be some of the most prideful people on the earth. And I don't just talk about narcissism like that because I understand that it is mental disorder. But if that's not pride, what is? And a lot of times when you watch Criminal Minds and you watch the unsub, they are talking to you about narcissism and high levels of arrogancy. It says it is attributed to most of the fraud, injustice, violence. People be out there being violent to get rich. Get rich or die trying is what 50 said. And extortion. These are the things. It said that wealth is frequently acquired. So more often than not, when people are out there acquiring wealth, they are so prideful that they will be fraudulent, that they will be unjust, that they will be violent, and that they will extort. I ain't say it, the study did. No proud man is satisfied with being simply his own admirer. Didn't I just say, you don't see me how I see me? Well, you don't need to be in my space because you're beneath me anyway. I promise you, I am my greatest admirer, and I have admirers. But I don't have to have admirers because I'm going to admire me regardless. But I don't require admiration for somebody to be in my presence. Everybody that's in my presence might not even like me. That's all. We have to study to know our own character. That's self-analyzation. At the self-analyzation. How else you gonna know your own? What is studying to know your own character if it ain't self-analyzation? Endeavor to learn and to supply your own deficiencies. Never assume to yourself qualities which you do not possess. What the name of that book was? I forget what the Dangerous Minds, Dangerous Personalities, Dangerous Personalities that I just got finished. I forget what personality type that it said. The narcissist. It was the narcissistic personality, and that wasn't a book like Therapist and everything. That's to let you know, because all narcissists are not dangerous. But a vast majority of dangerous people are narcissists. He was an FBI agent that wrote this book. And he said that one of the characteristics of the narcissist was, it keep going somewhere where it ain't supposed to be, and I don't understand why I keep getting there. To assume to yourself qualities which you don't possess. Says the arrogant and conceited person is ordinarily the superficial and ignorant person. Yes, conceit. Look, I guilty. I have been there at the brink of conceit. And then God had to snatch me out of it. That was a cutting of the kite string for me. When I posted that video years back talking about conceit, somebody came on and was like, what's conceit? They weren't even aware of what conceit is. A false sense of confidence. It's you take it with the outer parts. You take it with what people can see. There's no end. That's why I said it's shallow. It's superficial. Superficial, shallow. It keeps riding back up to the top, and I don't even understand why. Superficial, shallow, it's all the same thing. Now, also, because God told me to stay in Proverbs, so sometimes I might come in and talk about something and talk about it in a different light. Oh, but God made sure to bring me back to this kite. Because I talk about God cutting your kite string. It says, kite, having risen to a very great height, moved in the air as stately as a prince, and looked down with much contempt on all below. What a superior being I am now, said the kite. Who has ever ascended so high as I have? What a poor groveling set of beings are all those beneath me. I despise them. And then he shook his head in derision. And then he wagged his tail. And again he steered along with so much state as if the air were all his own. Ain't no planes up here with me. Ain't no birds up here with me. Ain't no helicopters. There's nothing in the sky but me, kite. And as if everything must make way before him, when suddenly the string broke, and down fell the kite with greater haste than he ascended. You know, sometimes it take a little bit to get that kite up in the air because the wind got to be right for it to fly like it's supposed to. But you know, once it be up there, it be soaring. I love to see a kite in the air. I love to see a kite in the air. But let that string break. It coming down. It ain't going to take but a minute. And God forbid that the wind is still blowing hard, because it's going to go everywhere. going to go everywhere. And was greatly hurt in the fall. Pride often meets with downfall. Don't be the kite. Humble yourself. Please and thank you. The high and lofty one who inhabits eternity cannot permit his creatures' self-exaltation to go unchecked. That's like no discipline. You remember I talked about no discipline? They just want to go, King wanted to go unchecked. The woman just wanted you to bill her. You're not taking me to jail because I want you to bill me for the burger? What I look, who do you think you're dealing with? You're trying to take me to jail. Just wanted to go unchecked. A man that carries his head high looks upward. I can't even finish reading because I can't see what I'm reading because my head is high. If I can't read my phone, then I sure not see the ground that I'm walking on to know where I'm going because my head is high. My nose is in the air. Duh. And not his going. He looks upward and not his going. Sees not at what he may stumble. And so falls. Moreover, the bigger a person or thing, Jack and the Beanstalk. Do you see how hard that giant fell? David and Goliath. Do you see how hard that giant fell? He was big one. They was big ones, Savannah. They was big men, Savannah. The greater is the fall. And very often, when a man has got to the height of his riches and honor and is swelling with pride and vanity on account of it, he is on the precipice of ruin. And his fall is immediate. And when I read that, all I thought about is Anton Daniels, because that thing, that saint there, that can't nobody tell nothing and wanted to be doing everything for the polarization of it, and his wife is just on board because what he says goes, and if you're supposed to be his good thing and his help meet, you is supposed to make sure that this clown is not out here clowning just for the likes and the views, because you said that you're a child of God, and I believe that integrity and character is supposed to be your portion. Or are you considering yourself an actor like Charleston White? I don't know. All of that to just lead me into this Lakeisha because have at it with Anton Daniels. Have at it. Talk about Anton Daniels until you're blue in the face. But she said he ruined his daughter's life. She said, you want the best for her, but she's only going to get what you put out into the atmosphere. So, and I understand the sins of the father fall on the children, but that is not for you to then say she's not going to get anything that she desires or deserves because she his daughter. That's not how any of that works. Says the only person that would marry her would have to be paid. No man would want to deal with you or respect you enough to respect her. Now, our children oftentimes, when they have to go through some things and some stuff, this is what I've come to know with just a little bit of living. Sometimes they look at our mistakes and swear that they're going to do better. It is highly possible, while yes, she may respect her dad's words and his say-so, And we really don't know what the relationship, because so much of the world is a stage. We really don't know what the relationship is between them, and the things that he may say to his daughter in respect to men. We don't know. We know you're a hot mess, but we're not in this house to know what's being said. But as an adult, relationships become ours. So if she is in a relationship, and a flourishing relationship at that, and seeking wisdom, then it will be just that. But you didn't stop there. You said young YNs look at physical features. So there she's again saying that the young lady is ugly, without saying that she's ugly. But who said that she wants a young YN? First and foremost. And she said on that video and said, I don't deal with young YNs or whatever. But like, how do you then categorize the people that will come into her view? Because you're saying things as if there would never be anybody out there that would want to be in relationship with this young lady. Like, it is the continuing to call this young lady it is not, this is me being a woman. I said it earlier. When you're dragging women and calling them outside of their name and talking about them, especially when they're young enough to be your children, or potentially even younger than your children, like, what in your psyche? I question her psyche. I question Keisha's psyche. What in your psyche makes that okay? You make me think you ain't right. That's all. Say you only get back what you putting out. As if she's putting out her dad, as if her dad's putting out her karma. You don't know what she puts out because you don't know her. But these are some of the things that they have to say about her.
Our children, for some reason, picks up our sin. So even if we are the best parents ever to our children, they get that nasty energy that we put out in the universe.
And Miss Lakeisha, because I don't remember what Anton said your last name was. But to that I say, you're putting out nasty energy. So does that mean that your children are putting out nasty energy as well? You know, if they get the energy that we put out, like, are you putting energy out there for them to get back in return? Because it's very much nasty energy for you to keep a young adult's name. Let's say she's a young adult, since you keep saying she's not a child. She's still a baby. It's very much nasty energy. And I will continue to say that anybody in your chat that feels a way is still on your plane. It's nasty energy that y'all out here putting out. Oh, man.
You would say that the lady looked like a roach. Tearing down someone's physical features is absolutely crazy. Why would you say that? Out of all the things to say, you're going to say the lady look like that. But it's interesting that you would say that she looks like that when we know how, you know, your look, she ain't, you know what I mean? So, again,
Lakeisha, you just said tearing down someone's physical features is not the rave, for lack of quoting what you said. But then you come right back behind that and tear down someone's physical features. You, my darling, Lakeisha Keisha, cream of the plot. Hit that bell because the T don't stop because I have no intention on learning that new long song. You are a hypocrite. That's what you are. Love your content. Gonna continue to watch it. Long as you don't block me. But you're a hypocrite, darling. That's all. Let's see what we got here.
Other women and saying that they look like a roach, which is very interesting.
Oh.
Because if she looks like one, we know what old Leslie look like.
Oh, she just reiterated because the first time she ain't say her name. But this time, that's why I got that one. Because that time she called her by name. So if the other woman looked like a roach, we couldn't even talk about what Anton looked like. We had to go straight to his daughter. Like, that's like, he hit me. So I got to talk about everything else because he hit me. Hit him back. Hit him back. And you know, I'm the queen of you can't tell nobody how to get their clap back. But I'm not going to understand. You're a hypocrite. You are not team encourage the youth. And I would watch you because you put out bad energy. That bad energy, Buddha. That bad energy. Now, I didn't know who this was when I screenshotted this, but I watched his content. The last time I did a video, I spoke on some of his content and couldn't think of his name, but this is Mike Drop Barbecue. Anton's daughter will end up with a dude from the manosphere, hopefully. Laughing emoji. That would be epic to hear a man talk about his daughter, how he talks about women. And hopefully the dude got a YouTube channel and calls her chick all the time. Now it burns my britches, and I'll call myself a chick, but it burns my britches. When I hear men call women chicks, I feel like it's a dude on Facebook. And look, I only refer to it when I feel like I will call Anton Daniels a dude. Because I have a friend that liked to call me girl until I called him boy enough. That's how I roll. And once I called him boy one too many times for him, he learned that I am not a girl. You gonna call me by my name? Not even if you hear me call myself chick. But for you, because this dude, but both of them, Lakeisha Keisha my age, this dude like he my age too. And y'all is all up on a 17-year-old. Lack of character much? That's all that I'm saying about this. Another commenter said, this is comment to Lakeisha. You basically saying that Anton's dark-skinned black daughter is unattractive. And it's very sad that other black people in the comments are also saying the same thing, shaking my damn head. Because low-hanging fruit, Coach Stormy, low vibrational, low-hanging fruit, they gonna follow the leader. Follow the leader, Rakim, I say. They gonna follow the leader. They want to be in with the in crowd. They low in character, no integrity. Because I'm pretty sure that most of the people in the chat was older. And y'all believe that it's okay. Like, y'all, we live in a world where adults who call themselves mature adults feel like it's okay to mess with this people that was in the chat talking about her esteem. But y'all feel like it's okay to go in on her esteem because you got a problem with her father. If that ain't the land of totally, I don't know what is. It's bad character.
But do you understand how it's okay for him to tear down children? But if somebody says the 18-year-old is a little on the ugly side, it's a problem. But that's really the truth.
If it was okay for him to tear down children, would you not be talking about the fact that he tears down children, which is in essence why you know that it's not okay for him to tear down children. But it's not okay for him to tear down children, but it's okay for you to tear down children because he tears down children. To me, that makes you worse. Because you rationalized and made sure that you said she was 18, but she still ain't did shit to you. But you rationalize why it's okay to call her ugly because her daddy calls other people ugly. How stupid does that sound? I'm just saying. Let's see here. In one of his videos years ago, he said he didn't want his daughter to date a black man. Lakeisha Keisha responds on this post. None would want her, so it makes sense. This is an adult that's almost 50. My daughters are 30. I would be careful the way that I was handling 30-year-olds, but a 30-year-old might could get it from me maybe if I felt like the Lord was allowing me to move in, allowing my buttons to be pushed because they are totally adults. This child is still in ones in front of her age. She still got a 1 in the front of her age. And you rationalizing because he do it, I can do it to his daughter. That's clown behavior. Period. What the heck? Oh, I'm a clown.
Marry that damn girl. The only man that's gonna marry Anton's daughter is one that he paid to marry her. Boy, first of all, ain't nobody finna be bothered with your ugly ass. And second of all, you done talked about every woman in the United States of America. Guess what's finna happen? All that shit finna come right back to your daughter. Don't nobody want your daughter. Don't nobody want your daughter. Ain't nobody gonna marry your daughter. First of all, you young dudes. Ain't no young dude finna marry you when you funny looking. I'm just gonna be all the way 100. You know, the young guys only look for how you look. That's all they look at. So his daughter ain't marrying nobody. He might as well forget it. And you know, rightfully so, it's his problem. You done drug everybody. You done talked about every woman. And now your daughter gonna catch all that hell. Ain't nobody marrying her. She will be home forever. Nobody is marrying her. Don't nobody want his daughter. So he can forget that.
It's a little funny looking to me. And this coming from someone who has been called funny looking. My baby used to, that I allowed her to let that be my name. Funny looking. You is funny looking. Funny looking. Can we keep messing with me, funny looking? Yes, she did used to call me funny looking, so I'm okay with looking funny, honey. I look good and funny, honey. I'd say that's a little funny looking. I mean, that's just my opinion. We both adults. We both adults. We both real adults. So, if we casting opinions and she's naive, then let's get it.
Yeah, somebody gonna get at her, but don't nobody want his daughter in real life. Like, come on now, come on. Don't no dude want Anton's daughter? Come on. Let's just be serious. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being real. These dudes, they like cute girls. Don't nobody think Anton's daughter is cute but him. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm talking real. Don't nobody like the real. Everybody want to lie. I mean, it's crazy when you talk about every woman in the world as if yours is cute.
I just just want to know how in the world do she know who think that young lady is cute or not, since she don't know nobody that she knows and she don't know everybody in the world. Lakeisha Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell because the tea don't stop. You are a hypocrite. You is a hypocrite. You is low in character. And you is funny looking. And with that being said, on to the next, on to the next one, on to the next, on to the next. I'm on, and I'm on, and I'm on, and I'm on to the next one. Now, let's see what Kendra G and Cam talking about. I'm not really going to go into all of this Kendra G and Cam stuff. I'm just going to say, let me see. I do want that one.
I'm working on myself.
He said he was working on himself, which men can say that. That's what I was going to say on that when he said he was working on himself, but men always have a problem when women say they're working on themselves. Working on yourself and not taking accountability and working on yourself while you take accountability are two different things.
Like, I'm on a pursuit of
No, that ain't the one. I just want one main one. One main one.
I'm on a pursuit of
Oh, I thought I
I do think you're projecting a little bit.
Okay.
That person. So what they come with is what you come with.
I do think you're projecting a little bit.
Projected in what way?
It's that the example that you gave was, that ain't my mama.
That the kids say?
Yeah, like I don't like one of them kids ain't gonna like me.
You think that all 9 kids are gonna like your new girlfriend?
Well, as the adult, there's certain things that you instill in your children as respect.
Yeah, but you can't control your children.
Okay.
The children is a human. They have the right to be themselves. So
Under my house,
Under
you have
your-
to understand.
So you think
as
for them?
Parents, yes, you have to.
You can have so this is what I feel as though is this. You can teach your children respect, but their emotions belong to them.
Yeah.
And
this is why. This is going back to the.
You can teach your children respect, but their emotions belong to them. And from that clip, and she came, I was going to play all of that, but I'm not going to play all of that. She came and made a video in response to the podcasters that had been going on talking about it. I know it was O'Shea Duke Jackson, for one, and Street Media TV for two. It may have been some other ones, but I know that those are two of the two that I watched, that I heard say, Cam Newton check Kendra G. Cam Newton check Kendra G. And all that I said on one of theirs, I don't remember which one it was, but all that I said is she wasn't projecting. Okay, let's give an example. Because what he goes on to say is, because he said he thinks for his children. Cool beans. You have to think for your children when they're children. You have to if they're underneath your roof. You have to do what's best for them. He says, my children will want to eat Skittles every night. You can't let the babies eat Skittles every night because they're not going to have no teethus. You cannot let the children eat Skittles every night because they're not going to have no teethus. But guess what? When you tell that baby that he can't have Skittles every night, you cannot control if that baby goes in his room and starts cussing you out under his room. I can't stand my day and I'm out there. earth. He won't never let me have no Skittles for dinner. He won't even let me have no potato chips for breakfast. He won't even do that. You can't control that. That's all that she was saying. When you bring that new girlfriend into the house, that baby can be respectful as all get up. My daughters have plenty of respect. They are always told how respectful they are. They are very much respectful to their dad's wife. But the way they feel about that woman is a different thing. And guess what? I could only control them being respectful to her while they were in my house. I could not control whether they liked her or not. Because the relationship that was forged between them and her was the relationship that caused them to feel the way that they felt about her. And it wasn't just them alone. So for anybody that wants to try to put that on me, because I forged a relationship with my children and their father where I had to step back out of it. Because they would come home and tell me about things and it would have me pissed off and trying to interject. No, that's your relationship. I'm out of it. But you gotta be respectful. I always taught my children you have to be respectful. So yeah, Mr. Cam did not check Kendra G. He voiced his opinion and she explained her vantage point, which is a valid one. And they came to an understanding about that. Why? Because I watched the whole shit. I didn't just go in there for a clip. I watched the whole thing. That's why I had several videos, but I'm not getting ready to talk about everything. She also talked about working on himself. That was in reference to not getting married, because you want to know yourself. Because she went on, she said this thing about having a piece of man is better than having no man. No, because my preference for, and she tells women that, she tells women and men, if you take the time to know yourself, that's what this whole lesson has been about. If you take the time to know yourself, get to know yourself, good, bad, and indifferent, then you won't be out there choosing people for the most superficial reasons. That's what the pride was talking about. People that suffer from pride are normally superficial. They want the big booties. They want the 6 figures. They want the tall men. They want the houses and the cars. They want the Birkin bags and shit. And how does that work out? Because I promise you, there are people in relationship who did not go into relationship looking for those things that get them. They get Birkin bags and all of the, you're gonna go through things in a relationship. You're gonna go through things in a relationship. No relationship is perfect, and they all are work. You have to be willing to put that work in. Now we done talked about some things and some stuff. And when you put that work in, when you put that work in on yourself first, it's going to bring out the best part of you. And when the best part of you is coming out, it's going to attract better people. People of better character. People of integrity. No, nobody just wants to be with somebody. Some people want to be with some people that don't have nothing. But if that's what you choose, then don't expect a great reward, because you've attracted who you are. Because you attract who you are. And I'm always going to stand on that business. You attract who you are. And the better you become as a person, the better your choices are. And I don't get down with that hit the wall shit that men be wanting to talk about. Excuse my French. I don't get down with that. I just went on Tatiana Ali and her husband is going viral. And men is like, I could have had my chance with her because look at superficial stuff. What the heck? I could have had my chance with him because look at him, that superficial stuff. He's a college professor first and foremost. And if she has a look, the couple of people that I saw, and they both put joke, but if she has a look, he don't look nothing like y'all, first and foremost. So that would be some superficial stuff that would make you think that you could have had her just because you don't think that he looks good enough to have bagged Tatiana Ali. Because somebody said that's who she pulled because she hit the wall. He's a college professor and they've been married for 10 years. What are we talking here? What are we talking here? All right, y'all. I'm done. It has been a wonderful pleasure having y'all sit with me for a spell. Again, I would appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe. We done talked about some things and stuff. We done talked about privilege. We done talked about pride. We done talked about keeping your hands to yourself. We done talked about Twitch and his mama trying to get these rights to see these babies. We done talked about Kendra G and Cam. We talked a little bit about Janae and her men. Prayers out to her family. And we talked about this lay Keisha who cannot keep her mouth off of a baby, because she is a baby. I'm pretty sure she's probably younger than your children too. Get your mind right, baby. Get your mind right. Hello, beautiful. I can't tell nobody what to do. But if pride is your portion, and that would be the swelling, the kindness up there in the air, just flying as the kite was, as if nothing else is in the air with it, and everybody must praise me. If pride is your portion, beautiful, I suggest that you take a little time to sit with yourself, because that is false confidence. We want to be confident, baby. We want to be commanding the room. We want all eyes on us because it is, not because we got the best shape, not because we got the best bags and the best clothes, and all of those things are okay as long as they don't define you. What defines you, beautiful? Think on that. Sylvie loves you. She is out. Whew.